have with me very special guest, Shazza McKenzie.
Hi! Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Of course, thank you. So how are you doing today?
I'm good. It's nighttime for you, but I just finished work. It's the afternoon. Friday, it's the weekend. I'm like, chill now. I'm good.
I wish it was Friday. It's still, I wish. So, were you a fan of wrestling growing up?
I wasn't a fan growing up. I started watching as a teenager. So I started watching a lot later than I guess most people watch. Like, I wasn't like as a child, but like as soon as I saw, like, I think it was like Trish Stratus, and so I saw her and I was like 15 at the time, and I was just like, this is it. Like, she's great, she's amazing. And then I was just like, nothing else mattered. I just had to watch wrestling.
So how did you first get started in wrestling?
Basically, I just Googled. I had like these big plans that I was going to like save up enough money to go to Canada, and I wanted to train at the Lance Storm School, but then I was just really bad with money. So I instead just Googled and found a local school, and then it wasn't that local. It was only an hour away. But yeah, I just Googled and went to the first place that showed up as soon as they let me in.
So how long did you train before you had your first match?
I trained for about a year. So I think it was like just under a year. But yeah, I trained for a long time. They had like a curriculum, I guess, kind of like you had to do like your beginner's course, your intermediate course, and your advanced course. Like, you had to pass all these courses before you were allowed to wrestle, essentially. So I went through the whole process of all that, and then they let me wrestle, and then I haven't stopped since, well, until this giant global pandemic. Other than that.
So who was your first match against?
My first match was against a wrestler she was called Alison Wonderland at the time. She now goes by Harley Wonderland. And she started training like 6 months before me. So we were both, especially back then, there wasn't that many women, like, because I've been wrestling for 12 years. So there were very few women, especially in Australia. So we were both about the same like experience level, but we're still both wrestlers. Like, we're still both out here doing it. We have different paths or whatever, but like I wrestled her last year still, so it's crazy that we're still both doing it all these years later.
So how did your first match go?
I think it went okay. like as far as first match goes, I've seen some very bad first matches. So I was like, this isn't horrible. Like, it's not fantastic by any means. It's not 5 stars. It's not, down in the Tokyo Dome, but it was okay. Like, it wasn't embarrassing. It wasn't like completely embarrassing. Like, I would show it to people if they asked to see it, and I wouldn't be like, please don't look at this. It would be okay. It was okay.
That's good. So up to this point in your career, who has been some of your favorite people to work with?
My absolute favorite person to wrestle is Madison Eagles, who's my trainer and mentor and friend and everything. And she's just also one of the best wrestlers in the entire world. And so I've been very lucky to get to wrestle her a whole lot. So she's my number one favorite person to wrestle. And then I love Kylie Ray. I think I think she's fantastic. I think she's like the best wrestler in the world right now. And no one can really touch her on a level, male or female. I think she's fantastic. I've been lucky to share the ring with her a couple of times. I'd love to share the ring with her again, though.
Of course. So it's known that you've had some bad luck with this COVID quarantine. How have you recovered from that, and how is the wrestling scene in Australia?
So at the moment, the wrestling scene in Australia doesn't really exist still. Like, we haven't done shows since March because it's like our restrictions are a lot, I guess, stricter than they are in America. So there's a lot of we're not allowed to have large groups of people like in our like I think the max we're allowed to have is like 20 people in a building, and so there's still not like enough people to put on a show. We've done one like empty arena like filmed for the internet show, but we haven't done it yet. We haven't done anything proper. It's also winter, so like we can't, like over here it's winter, so we can't just go outside like everyone has been doing over in the US and just spread everyone out because we'll get rained on and be not fun at. So it's tough, but you know it'll pass eventually, and then once it passes, we'll figure out there. We'll work it out. Things will happen. It's what it is.
Soon, hopefully, it'll get better. So you've
hopefully,
So you've recently started your own podcast. How are you liking that?
I'm having a lot of fun because I found, for me, I started it because, like, with this whole COVID thing, and not having wrestling, I didn't have like a creative outlet to like, I don't know, express myself. And I know it's very different podcasting to wrestling, but it's still something that's like mine, that I've created, and that I can sort of say and do what I feel and everything like that. And so that's been, like I've been really enjoying it, and everyone should check it out. That's So Shazza.
That's right. Plug. So after the world gets back to normal, who is someone that you would definitely like to work with in the future?
Gosh, there's a lot. Like, I would really like to work with Dion. So now that Dion's back out on the indies, stuff has a bit more freedom. I never got to have I had a 3-way with her when she came down to Australia a couple of years ago, but I've never had a singles match with her, and she's one of the best wrestlers and launches the Impact Knockouts champion. So she's like right up there on my list of people I want to work with.
Of course. So we've come to the end of this little podcast here. So just hopefully we will see you in the future sometime in the US.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Definitely. So is there a way people can find you on your social media?
Yeah, so on Twitter and Instagram, it's just at Shazza_McKenzie. And then on Facebook, I guess you search Shazza McKenzie and it'll pop up.
Of course. So thank you so much for being a guest.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I know the time limit is a bit different, but we made it work, and just thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.